Hello, I'm Sonia and I welcome you back to my channel Grammar Forward. We are continuing with our series on English verb tenses. And in today's video, we are going to take up the next tense, which is past continuous tense. So let's find out what is past continuous tense, when is it used, and how is this tense used. Although the past tense has four aspects, it has only two basic tense in the English language, and they are the past simple and the past continuous. And in our previous session, we learned in detail how and when to use the past simple tense. So what are the differences between the past simple and the past continuous? To explain that, let me give you an example. Imagine yesterday at 10 at night, I went to bed. And today at 6 in the morning, I woke up. So which tense have I used here? Here I used past simple tense, and it's the same there. Past simple tense is used because I'm using this tense to talk about an action that was completed in the past at a specific point in time. At 10, I went to bed. At 6, I woke up. But imagine you tried to call me on the phone at maybe 11 p.m., 11 at night, and I didn't answer your call. And today you are asking me, I tried to call you, but you didn't answer. What were you doing then? And then I will reply, at 11, I was sleeping. I was sleeping. So let me write it here for you. I was sleeping. So why am I using this continuous form here? I was sleeping. Because I am using this verb to talk about a continuing action that happened in the past at a specific point. So now you know the difference between the past simple and the past continuous tense. This to talk about an action that happened at a specific point. This about an action that was continuing at a specific point in time. Let's try to understand how to use the past continuous tense. So here on the board I've written all the subject pronouns I, we, you, they, he, she and it. And in order to make the positive form, we have to use this formula. We use be plus verb in the ing form. So how do we use the helping verb be? We will have to change it according to the subject. So with I, we don't say I be, we say I was, and the ing form of read is reading. So you have I was reading. With we, because it's plural, we have to use were. So we were reading. The same with you, but you have to keep in mind that whether we are talking about one person, you as a singular, or you as a plural, you will have to use you were. You were reading when I called you. They were reading. But with he, she and it, which are all singular pronouns, you will again use was. So we have he, she and it was reading. And how do we make the negative form? Here we just have to add the word not with the helping verb. So here you have was not reading. The same with were not reading. So you were not reading. How do you make the contraction or the short form of were not? We put them together, we remove the O and we use the apostrophe here. So you have you weren't reading or they weren't reading. Now with was, we have was not reading and the short form is wasn't. So you found that were not with the plural is used and the short form is weren't, and with the singular pronouns we have was not, of which the contraction is wasn't. So how about making the question form? Let's start with the yes or no questions first. Do you remember how we formed the positive sentence? You had I was reading. So how did you start? First you had a subject and then you had the helping verb followed by the main verb in ing form. So in order to form the yes or no question, you will just alter the order. You will change the order, you will invert it. You start with the helping verb first and then you will have the subject. So that's what I've done there. Was I reading? So did you notice the change? I was reading is a sentence, the affirmative, the positive sentence that became was I reading? The next, we were reading became were we reading? Then you were reading, were you reading? The same with they, were they reading? And with the singular pronouns, the subject you have he was reading, that became was he reading? Was she reading? Was it reading? And so on. Now what should we do next? We should make the WH questions. You know what are WH questions? Questions made with the help of WH words. So how do we make such a question? It's very easy. Here you have the yes or no question. Was I reading? You just add the WH word in front of this question and there you are ready with your WH question. So example, you have the WH word what. I put that in front of this yes or no question and I have what was I reading? So I can use the same thing with the next one. What were you reading? And with the singular subject you have he, she or it. Was she reading? So you add the word when. When was she reading? Now let's find out when to use the past continuous tense. As I already told you, the past continuous tense is used to talk about actions that were continuing at a specific time in the past. But precisely speaking, it can be used in different situations. Let's try to find out what they are in detail. The first one is, past continuous tense is used to describe actions that were in progress at a specific time in the past. At a specific time in the past. So these examples make it clear. Around 2 p.m., she was teaching her son. The time is almost given, almost specified, around 2 p.m. In the next example, it's more precisely given. At 6 p.m., he was not driving the car. Maybe he was doing something else. So that means the past continuous tense can be used to talk about a continuing action at a precise moment in the past. Here is a second use of the past continuous tense. It can also be used to talk about two actions that were happening in the past. Two conditions. They shouldn't be happening now, and also these two actions shouldn't influence each other. So here you have this example. I was cutting the vegetables and she was grilling the chicken. Two actions happening side by side, not influencing each other. Another example is, Sarah was playing the piano and Amal was singing. Yet another common use of past continuous tense is to talk about a continuing action that was interrupted by another action. So in this case, the past continuous tense is used with past simple tense. So when this pairing happens, it shows that something happened in the middle of something else happening. So let me give you these two examples. While we were playing tennis, it started to rain. Here you can see that a combination of tenses are used. This is past continuous tense, were playing, and in black I have written the past simple tense. So while this was happening, the longer action was happening, it was stopped or interrupted by a shorter action, which is denoted using past simple tense. In the second example, it's the same. I was making dinner when she arrived. So here it is past continuous followed by simple past tense. And you can see that in the first sentence, I've circled this word while, and in the second you have when, which is circled. These two are used as keywords with past continuous tense. When you find when or while, you can be sure that it's going to be a combination of past continuous and past simple tenses. Sometimes the past continuous tense is used to refer to repeated actions that irritate or annoy us. So when we use it in this way, we have to make sure that this action doesn't happen now. It should have happened only in the past, and perhaps it was a temporary habit. So here we have two examples. She was talking constantly in the class. So it was something which is annoying. He was always coming late to work. So here the verb is was coming, and this frequency adverb is inserted in between to show that it was like a habit. And in this case, we see that the keywords used are always or constantly, and also we have forever. The past continuous tense can also be used to express a change of mind. That is, the speaker perhaps was planning to do something, but later he changed his mind and decided to do something else. So let's read the first example. I was going to spend the evening at the beach, but then I decided to stay at home. Sheila was going to accept the job offer, but then she changed her mind. So you can see that the past continuous tense here is used to denote an initial plan that was changed later. The past continuous tense is so versatile that it can even be used to make a polite request. But when used this way, it should always be used with or paired with the word wonder. Let's have these examples. I was wondering if you could open the door. This is just a polite way of asking someone if he or she could open the door. Another sentence is, we were wondering if you could attend the meeting. Asking somebody in a very polite way to attend the meeting. But when we use it this way, we have to make sure that the request was made in the past. It's equally important to know when not to use the past continuous tense. Past continuous tense can never be used with stative verbs. You know that in English there are two kinds of verbs, stative and action verbs, or dynamic and state verbs. So stative verbs are those that refer to feelings, senses, thoughts, opinions, possession, measurement, and so on. So here you have some examples. I was needing to go to the bank. Need is a stative verb, so you can never say I was needing. That's wrong. That should be replaced with I needed. Here we just use the past simple tense. In the second example you have, he was arriving at noon. We never use past continuous tense with the verb arrive. It should be he arrived at noon. Again, we are using the simple past tense. Were you hearing that sound? Here is a stative verb. Listen to is an action verb. So when we use here, we cannot pair it with past continuous tense. So it's a question. So we should ask this question in simple past tense. For that, we should use the helping verb did. Did you hear that sound? Now let's have some fun spotting the mistakes. So here on the board you will find 6 sentences and all of them contain some mistake. And these mistakes are the most common oft repeated mistakes made by using the past continuous tense. So let's begin with the first one. While I chatted with her, the phone rang. You can see that in this sentence we use the conjunction while. And when we have this as the key word, it's an indication that we have to use the past continuous tense because we use it with a longer action. So here, chatted is wrong. It should be while I was chatting. Don't forget we are using it with I. So it should be was. While I was chatting with her, the phone rang. This sentence is a kind of combination of past continuous and simple past tense. The next question. What you were doing when I called you? You can see that it's a question. It's a WH question used with past continuous tense. So what do you think the order of these words should be? Should it be what you were doing or what were you doing? So this should come here and you should follow that. So what were you doing? It's because after the WH word, you have the helping verb followed by the subject and then the verb, the main verb with ing. So that's corrected now. Number 3, I waited for you when I met him. Again, you have the conjunction when. I waited for you when I met him. So meeting a person is a short action. It's something which interrupted a long action here. So the long action is wait. We should use I was waiting. That is, the past continuous form should be used here. I was waiting for you when I met him. Number 4, I watched a movie at 4 p.m. yesterday. Watching a movie is a continuous action. It's a continuing process. So it should be I was watching a movie at 4 p.m. yesterday. This process started before 4 p.m. and it continued after 4 p.m. But at that moment, I was watching a movie. Number 5, they was not listening to me when I spoke. So here you can see that something is wrong with the form. We are using it with the plural subject they. So it shouldn't be was, it should be were. They were not listening to me when I spoke. The last one, did you were speaking on the phone? I'm sure you understood a mistake. It's something over here. You are using the question form, the yes or no question form with the past continuous tense. In that case, we needn't use did. Instead, we will start with were. So it should be, were you speaking? This is to be removed. Were you speaking on the phone? Maybe when I called you. I hope you found this lesson interesting and that you benefited from it. If so, please do like my video and subscribe to my channel if you are new with me here. So meet you in the next session. Goodbye until then. Take care and stay safe.